Hello everybody, this is Amy Lionheart back with another commentary-based video, and in today's video we're going to be exploring Ivy's changes in version 1.11. Now, aside from character balancing and changes within moves, this patch also touched upon graphical improvements, fixing some hitbox issues, adding more aesthetic cues in terms of the gameplay. There's so many things this patch has done to make the game better. I want to touch upon the aesthetic improvements because I'm an aesthetics person and I notice these things right away. I'm just going to go into training here. I wanted to record the main menu going into the mode so you guys can see the models. I am on Xbox One S. Obviously, Xbox One X and PC have the 4K graphics. As for a scrub who doesn't have 4K TV or anything, this is so much better. So I am actually going to pick normal Ivy just so you guys can see the differences here. I'm going to pick Ivy to train against just in case I need to counteract certain things for the sake of show and tell. And we are going to be going on this stage. So as you can see, like, the shading's much better, the highlights are much better, there's less blocky polygons in the 3D models themselves. It looks so much better. It's much cleaner. I think there's a little bit more focus in certain areas. You will be seeing in the gameplay when I show these changes that they added some like aesthetic stuff. So for example, when Ivy leaves the ground here, there's like a huge dirt tornado. That is so cool. Like, it's the little things that matter a lot. And you're gonna also see with certain characters that they have some cues in their moves for certain conditions. So for example, Raphael, he has a lethal hit condition where if you do 3A like about 4 times or 5 times, correct me if I'm wrong, there's like these little cues that tell you how close you are to like achieving the lethal hit. And when he goes into his CE in prep stance, his sword glows blue instead of gold. So it's kind of cool. And with Maxi, who's a character that's very dynamic and in-depth with his stances, he has these little aesthetic... it's like these little nodes that show which stance he's transitioning in, and it's so sick. But yeah, enough of aesthetic. We're going to be looking into these notes for Ivy. So they did have an update for all characters where they fixed hitboxes, they improved aesthetics, the distance for certain pushback on combos and moves were altered. Bring out certain moves that self-ring out, like with characters like Talum and Taki and maybe Astaroth, they fixed that too. So in the patch notes, I'm not going to read the comment that they made about Ivy, but the biggest thing that they adjusted with her is her Spiral Lust. Now, Spiral Lust, this is 3AB. You can hold it or you can let it go. It's up to you. And then her full crouch 3B, the same concept. This move is very important to Ivy's max damage combos. They made this move on block. It brings the opponent in closer. So let me change my settings here just so I can show you what's guaranteed, what's not guaranteed. So this move, it pushes them in closer. Now, this move used to have a little bit of pushback, but it didn't. She was pretty much safe off of it. And that's a lot of moves with Ivy from range that are safe. Like, let's say you whiff 3AG from like a distance. If you're not fighting somebody who has range, you're essentially just safe, or just you're fine. You don't have to worry about much. But with certain matchups, like against Ivy as well, maybe Nightmare, 2B can punish you. So it all varies. But this move is like, they changed the damage on it again, and they made it pull in when it's activated. So this is just one of those things. I'll literally explain my thoughts on it. For the first move, we had 8A plus B hold, adjusted the input window to reduce cases in which the move would accidentally be performed. So I guess this move is very sensitive, and people weren't trying to do this for some reason. I guess that's really good. This move is very key for Ivy's reverse ring out game. So for example, I believe if I go around here, this completely rings out. Like, that move is key for that, and just for placement. If there's no edge there, if you want to move your opponent to the edge for strategy, then you can go for it. It's a decent move. It's a good mix-up for wake-up on people when you want to, you know, do a mid or a low or a grab mix-up or whatever. So that's the change that they did for that one. Now, the red arrows on these patch notes are to mean buffs because it's pointing up, and then the blue arrows mean that are going down mean nerfs. So they also have categories with behavioral adjustment, balance adjustment, etc. But don't worry about that for right now. Next move they buffed, which is great because this move was kind of trash. 6BB in Soul Charge. So Ivy, when she goes into Soul Charge, she has this really nice move. It has a cinematic. So on counter hit, this is guaranteed. Obviously, Ivy is guarding this because this is not counter hit, this is normal hit. When you would whiff punish with this move, the move in of itself, the window to block this was so huge, like it was easy. This move, it was easily stepped, it was easily guarded, and they made this jail more. I can put this on counter hit settings so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, so this move you barely see it, but I guess now with this patch you're going to see it much more often. This is very essential for reversal edge because it's a guard break attack on second hit. You will beat the reversal edge, but it varies because Talum and Raphael, but mainly Talum, they can just, you know, get out of it. The notes, it said, adjusted the attack so that the first and second hits are no longer guarded in succession. Made it harder for the second hit to miss after the first hit connects by adjusting the distance to the opponent and attack tracking properties. So they definitely buffed this move. It tracks, even on block. It's better now. And you'll get some good guard damage. So next one we have, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 6 moves, technically 5 because one is out of normal and one is out, during Servant's Embrace. Enlarge the hitbox and adjusted tracking in order to reduce instances in which the attack would miss. So they buffed the hitboxes on these moves. So 6BAK, this is a 12 frame Punisher if I recall. It's not a bad move to do. It is also good to interrupt people. Regular version is obviously Ivy Lick. I believe they meant to enlarge Ivy Lick too, not just the string, so that's good. Maybe we can get some better anti-airs with this move compared to previous versions. Next move that we're going to be looking at is 1B Hold. So, oh my god, this move. We're not going to get into it right now, but they've adjusted this move a lot. I guess this would whiff, or would be stepped, or whatever. So they made the hitbox bigger. Next we have 1144 or 778 or 1144 or 778 Hold. So this move, it is a mid. It's a move I used more in 5, but it's not a bad move. When you press forward, it gives you the second string to it. As shown, your back turn can go for setup for maybe 2-3 AB or A, but that's a high, so you want to be careful, or maybe 2K. Stage just increases, so now I guess it's going to be used more. It's not a terrible move, but it's kind of slow on startup. You have Wall Rising BB, during jump BBB. This is her string where she can get combo damage. While Rising BB is a high crush, during jump BBB is a low crush, so this is essential for combos. Obviously the Just version, you would get more damage. So the same concept applies with this, because this is a low crush. So if Ivy were to do a low, you would want to, you know, go for it. But these moves that's pretty good. I mean, this move would hit behind her a lot, so I mean, I don't... This move is pretty good. Just be careful with it. The last move is during Serpent's Embrace K, and I forgot to mention 6-6K. Same move, just one is during a stance and one is out of it. So this move is very linear. It's a decent punish. It's a mid. It's not a bad move to use. Just make sure not to just throw it out. It also high crushes because it's a tech crouch. It has the tech crouch properties. Serpent's Embrace K is the same thing. Just be careful with these moves. Frame trap wise, this move can frame trap. For example, if an Ivy wants to attack you, you're in this. If they want to hit a button, you do this, they get launched, and you get a free 8 AB plus K. Just enlarge the hitbox and the tracking in these. I guess they would miss, and rarely has that happen to me. One of the biggest changes are critical edge. The CE has changed like 2 times already. What they did to this is they reduced scaling to the move's combo damage when used as an air combo. So basically, pre-patch, Ivy couldn't really get a lot of damage from this. There was tons of scaling on it. It was not worth it as a combo. I mean, in the gameplay that you guys seen me do, it was like I would do it when I knew it was gonna kill or just for style. So now this does more damage. As you can see, it's going up and up and up. Before, it would just stay. Like, there would be more zeros. than like anything else. There's also a combo too with the CE that's pretty nice when your opponent is a little bit over guts. This one I love to use, 2J88B. It is guaranteed. Very good for when your opponent is in guts, because getting her AGI off would kill during guts, but it depends which attack is AGI'd, if it's a light attack or a heavy attack. So you have to be very careful with it. So this move is, you know, it's worth being used in the air, but I feel like the damage is okay. I mean, they really don't want her to do the same damage she did in like pre-patch. So I get it. It's much more useful now, so I guess why not? It's more used as an offensive option now rather than defensive, and it's still an AGI for verticals, guys. It's if you throw out a horizontal, it'll beat it out. It's just now I guess it's used for combos during SC because it's a faster startup. Well, even faster startup, correction. Another buff with the CE, they increase the length of stun inflicted when guarded. So we'll have Ivy block this. So I guess it's much more safer now compared to previous patches. The next one is enlarge the hitbox in order to reduce instances in which the attack would miss when hit in the air. Okay, so there were some little juggles that it would totally not connect and it would just be dumb. Preferably ring out. I would say stuff like that. Like, it would look like that. It would just not work. Now, obviously, in that instance, it's like a ring out scenario, but sometimes it would miss for some reason. So the next move that we're going to be talking about here that's affected is B slide 6 and BG6. So this move can be executed as just B6, as shown, or reversal edge forward. So they made it stun on normal hit. This is similar to Raphael's 4A because of the concept of it stunning on normal hit. So using it as an evasive tool or interruption, you're still going to get the same stun type. Now you have to be careful with these ranges because if you get it at very far tip range, you won't be able to connect certain things. It varies. I like to just do a 3AG. I like the space that it gives you, getting the opponent away from you, which is pretty much a good key component for Ivy. There's also stuff you can connect after it, like 8B plus K into Ivy Lick, or you can also connect 6-6A, and you get 62, that's max damage. It's a little bit finicky, so you have to really know your ranges. I'm still trying to get used to it. The difference in stun when the move is guarded and is hit at close range has been unified to the same properties as V6. When it's close to range or when it's blocked, it still has the same properties, but you will get this stun hit here. Next balance adjustment, which is a buff, 4A plus BB. This move has a better AGI window, if I recall, sped up the timing of the guard impact properties to take effect. So it's much faster on startup with the GI. This change was made so that this technique would be easier to utilize against moves that couldn't be defended against with a critical edge. So this is the answer that they gave us. They were like, okay, we gave you an AGI CE with only verticals. Here is your counter option. So yeah, exactly like that. Next move is 2288B, normally and held version. Increase the attack's tracking against opponents who missed an attack. I guess this move wouldn't really work as well. And somebody would whiff an attack, you would be able to punish this more effectively. So this is good because this launcher is pretty key to Ivy as a decent whiff punish. It's also good for combo damage. It's not terrible, and like I said, you can connect the CE after it because as long as you have 4A SC, you're good. This is going to always be guaranteed. Basically, is great that they made this move track a little more. It's still a vertical, so be careful, guys. Next move is 3366 or 99BB. Increase the length of stun inflicted when the first hit is guarded. Okay, let's take a look. Interesting. Next buff is during Spiral Lust G. Yes, this one. Going into Cerberus Embrace. So much quicker. So much. It creates more setup options for her. So, probably from a distance, so let's say, I throw this out. and I can go into SE. I can go for this. Keep in mind that SE4A, she backsteps, or she moves a little bit, and she also tech crouches. So decent move for evasion. You have different options: low, mid, or high. And obviously in Soul Charge, she definitely gets the unblockable effect. So they pretty much made this move more useful, the cancel especially. This change was implemented to make the move easier to use as an option against opponents who cautiously on their guard. Yeah, there it is. So, great for setup. It's not bad at all. I think that's really good. I've never used it. I've rarely used it. Only in a distance, pre-patch. But now that this literally is so much faster, you can definitely go for your setups. And you also have B plus K. You have a closer B plus K because you're in Serpent's Embrace. And then you also have the 9B plus K. That's very good. Now, my least favorite part about these notes are the nerfs. I guess it's fair. But one beholds, due to the significant impact the gameplay environment had on this move, when playing offline, there was enough time to see the moving guard, but not when playing online. Adjustments were made to reduce the difference. It still excels as an attack that pushes the opponent a great distance, whether it is hit or blocked. One beholds. Oh, man. So, this is what they did, guys, like to sum it up. You don't have to block low to block this anymore. It's legit a special low. You legit just block. Don't even have to do this anymore. You don't have to twitch stuff like that. Nope. It says here that this impacted the gameplay environment when playing online. Like, basically, offline this was so reactable, it wasn't even used. It was rarely used. But when playing online, there was not enough time for you to block it. This is because of the input delay in the netcode. Now, this is a huge, like, topic that everybody's talking about how they're catering to online play. And, you know, for a game to be balanced, you have to go off by offline. If the netcode is good enough, we don't have to worry about these things. But unfortunately, the input delay in this game is a lot, especially on PlayStation from a lot of the stuff that I read, and on consoles, just in general, the input delays there. PC is usually not in this demographic because PC has the least input delay, best performance. You just have everything there. So there's just a lot of stuff going on with this, and I was kind of like really annoyed by it. The only thing that they gave us to make us feel better about it is that it excels as an attack that pushes the opponent a great distance, whether it is hit or blocked. Ivy already has a ton of pushback on a lot of moves. 4B is one of them, just 6K, and I guess now you'll have 1B. This just pushes back, and this is great for her, so we at least have that. So we have to look at the bright side of things. Changed the first hit to a special low attack, as I've said here, made the attack unusable as a guard crush. Next move that we're going to look into is 2-3-AG. This move. The special low. Adjusted the move's ring up capability so it doesn't knock the opponent out of the ring over a low wall. Alright, so just to let you guys know, people think that this doesn't ring out anymore. No, it does ring out. Watch. This is a normal ring out, not a low wall. Stages like Maxi stage, I think it's Sophitia stage, yeah, like the ones that were in the beta. The stages with low walls and or balconies, I like to call them balconies, it's so much easier, doesn't ring out, it just wall splats. Oh, and your ult stage, there's so many more. But yeah, it doesn't ring out. So that's the nerf that they gave it. Fixed an issue in which hitting an opponent's critical edge would cause the camera to exhibit unexpected behavior. Well, the camera whizzing out is still in here. I've seen it, like, especially with this move. Like, when you do it, like, this far, sometimes it grabs them, because it's just silly, depending on the hurt box. This move, like, literally, personally, in my opinion, and I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible, 2-3-AG is already a linear attack, meaning you could already sidestep this. Stepping, sidewalking, sidestepping, it doesn't matter. You can avoid this. If you're playing passive and someone's sitting there blocking, like, of course, and if they don't block low, if they get hit by this, that's that's their own, like, poor choice of placement. Like, I know this thing rings out from, like, the middle of the stage, but the important note is it is very like, you can evade this, you can escape this. It's not like 2-3 AG track, like pre-patch. That was just retarded. Like, it was just stupid. So, I mean, it's not a big, like, it's not a huge nerf, but it changes a lot of things. So, it's not the end of the world. Ivy is still a good character, but, you know, personally, I feel like this move has already been evaded, and there's good players that react to this online and offline, especially online. Handful of opponents who know how to deal with Ivy can just avoid this because they know. They know the matchup, they know the range game, they know how she works. Let's go to the next move. 2288K. Her signature low sweep. Now this knocks down, guys, but guess what? It doesn't knock down on tip. That usually would knock down. You have to literally be all over in her tits and just use it there. I liked using this move as a high crush, but it was a decent knockdown to do here and there and for the sake of mix-up. But yeah, it doesn't knock down. So I suppose what you can do after this, maybe a command grab, maybe CS, maybe while rising K, who knows, but I would suggest to just stay guarding after this, or just try to go for something depending on the opponent. So that does not knock down anymore. Next move, Spiral Lust Unblockable Attack. Reduce the move's base damage and added scaling to the move's combo damage. So, Spiral Lust lethal hits from a long distance if the opponent is backstepping. 47 damage. This did a lot of damage, which I get. This was the max damage on tip range. The only way, in my opinion, that this move would just do a lot of damage is just maybe like if someone's just standing there being passive, because sometimes people will stand there and block it thinking that we're gonna let go quickly, because you have this option. You have the ability to let go whenever the hell you want. There's like a different held for it. But because of the, you know, the pull-in, you don't want to just do that. Some players might unblock, you know, it varies. Online play, people will just, they would wonder. Offline play, maybe they can react to it. But all in all, they just lowered the damage on the unblockable. And trust me, you can still get stuff off of it. Decent damage, of course. But, yeah. I would only use this charge if I got the lethal hit. I would just leave it. More damage scaling for that move, so it's whatever. During Spiral Lust B and during Spiral Lust B delay. So this is the one that's used in combos. Reduce the move's base damage. Another damage scaling on her max damage essential move. Change the move's behavior when it is guarded, reducing the distance between the character and the opponent. Like this was mentioned on her notes up there. It was a key move, and they wanted people to have, you know, more of a way to get in. Increase the length of the stun inflicted when during Spiral Lust B is guarded. Decrease the length of stun inflicted when during... Okay, so it's the same thing of the delay and not the length of stun inflicted. So, Ivy's a little bit more vulnerable with this when it's guarded, so... Yeah. She's most likely, you know, she's negative with that. Or the delay. Even with this version, as you can see. But, all in all, this move is also good for Ukami traps. So you can get a little 8B plus K there. So overall, my initial impressions on these changes for Ivy is pretty much neutral. I am okay with it. Some of the changes, such as the 2288K nerf, the 1B into a special low, and 2-3 AG not being able to ring out in low wall stages, those I'm personally at a huge disagreement with. The 2-3 AG, it's not really going to kill me. It's not really going to hurt Ivy because, you know, she still has some good ring outs options, especially the reverse ones. But it's just a concept of making things easier. Just it's a whole complicated issue. I will just say next patch, no more nerfs for her. She's good. So at least we're not Siegfried right now, because I know Siegfried got a lot of changes, and I'm pretty glad I'm not a Siegfried main. But yeah, that'll be it for today's video, you guys, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Let me know what you think about the patch down below for Ivy's changes. Do you like the buffs? Do you like the nerfs? Do you dislike the buffs or dislike the nerfs? Make sure to read them, and if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, and I will see you guys in the next video.